What's up, Nailed It Nation? Today, I want to talk about the importance of having an inner circle of people in your life and your business to help you make decisions and to help you navigate the entrepreneurial journey. I want to talk about the importance of that. And number two, I want to give you some tips on how to find those people, whether it's an inner circle, a mastermind, a coach, a mentor, to help you on this journey. All right, guys, so real casual one here, just sitting in my backyard by the pool. And I wanted to share some things that I shared on a podcast interview yesterday. And as I was talking about these things with the podcast host, I was like, man, this is really important. I should really get this down into an episode for Nailed It. So I started Contractor Dynamics a little over 10 years ago, and we are doing pretty well now, but it wasn't always the case. For the first 3 years of my business, I struggled. I struggled to gain traction. I struggled to figure out business. I struggled to make money. I struggled to feel like I was making a difference and feel successful. So maybe you're at that point in your journey right now, or maybe you remember that point in your journey, or maybe you're further along, but you're still facing those challenges. Hey man, I'm 10 years in and still facing some of those challenges and problems and mindset issues, most importantly, that I faced back in the day. But now I have an inner circle of people that can help me navigate through a lot of those challenges. So I'm going to share a little bit about my journey and how having coaches and mentors and mastermind groups has been transformational for me. And then I'm going to share a few tips on how you can find the right people for your particular business, for your life, for like where you're at to help you get to that next level. All right, so I started in 2013, and for the first 3 years, like I said, I didn't really get a lot of traction. It wasn't until 2015 when I joined my first mastermind group called the Dynamite Circle that I found that there were entrepreneurs all over the world just like me. They might have been in different businesses or been doing different things, but like we were going through the same sort of like insecurities and vulnerabilities, and the same things kept us up at night, the same challenges and problems and things like that. And that was an eye-opener for me because the first 3 years of my business, I, for some crazy reason, thought that I had this unique business model, marketing for contractors, and I had to figure out everything on my own. And part of that was just ignorance. I just didn't know that there are other companies out there like mine that I could kind of like, learn from and take some lessons from, right? And the other part of it was my blue collar work ethic. I grew up in my family's construction business, working out in a shipyard in Brooklyn, New York from the age of 14, just working really hard. And my mindset was like, if something needs to get done, I'm gonna put my head down and get it done. If I'm tired, I'll just drink some more coffee and I'll get that thing done. And that was and still is my mindset, which is a really good asset to have, that work ethic. But on the flip side, it can also be a liability because that I don't solicit the help of others, support of others, which has been instrumental in my growth. So the first few years, I mistakenly thought that I had to figure out all on my own. And when I got into this mastermind group, like it was an explosion of my brain. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not the only one going through these challenges. And like, I was so like lonely because I thought I was like, no one else understood me. Like my family, my local friends, like didn't understand some of the challenges that I was going through. And that was just such a relief in and of itself. And through that mastermind, the Dynamite Circle, I found my first business coach named Tim Conley. I was in his small group coaching program. There are 4 or 5 of us all throughout the country. And then Tim, and we had 2 Zoom meetings every month. It might've been every week. I think it was every 2 weeks actually. So this is back in 2015 before Zoom was really a big thing. So I'm like an OG Zoom member. And so we would meet every couple of weeks and just go around. And these other business owners were, service businesses different from mine, but a lot of similarities. And I learned that like, man, Tim had some of these experiences because he's 10 years older than me. He had owned a marketing company. He had sold that marketing company. So he could help me navigate some of these like pitfalls and roadblocks and challenges. And we weren't able to like eliminate the problems because we're always going to have problems and challenges. He was able to help me navigate those problems with, much less downside, if I could say that. So I was in that coaching program for a few years, and eventually I actually sold Tim 15% of Contractor Dynamics. So we were partners for a couple of years. A few years later, I bought him out. So now I'm 100% owner again. That was a very pivotal relationship for me at that point in my career. Fast forward to 2023, 8 years later, and I still have a business coach. I still have mentors. I still am a member of mastermind programs. I still have an inner circle. And that has been a very intentional decision. I will never not have a business coach, a mentor, an inner circle, because life is too short. And I want to accomplish lots of different things. And I want to impact lots of different people on a deep level. And so I don't want to try to figure out all of the things on my own. I want to compress time. I want to time travel. I want to learn from the experiences, the expertise, the mistakes of others so that I can have as much of an impact that I can have in this short lifetime. So here is what my inner circle looks like right now. I'm going to give you an inside look as to what that is, and then I'll give you some tips on how you can find the right people for you. Okay. So in no particular order, these are the people that are in my inner circle right now. I have my business coach, Clifton Muckenfoos IV. What a name, Clifton Muckenfoos IV. Clifton's amazing. I work with him through the Win Rate Consulting Group, which is headed up by Mike Claudio. Mike Claudio was my coach last year in 2022, and he has been instrumental in a lot of the growth that you guys are seeing, on the Nailed It show, bringing on new team members, growing, expanding, doing our own events and things like that. I owe a lot of that growth to Mike Claudio and that Win Rate Consulting Group. And Clifton is my coach this year. So Mike last year, Clifton this year, different perspectives, different dynamics and things like that. Clifton and I meet twice a month on Zoom. It's a 1-hour meeting twice a month. We have check-ins in between those meetings. I fill out like a form every week or most weeks to just kind of give him an update of what's going on in my business, my personal life, my mindset, my challenges, so that when we hop on that Zoom call every other Wednesday at 12 o'clock, we're already hitting the ground running. Like, we're not spending 20 minutes like, hey, catch me up as to what's going on. No, like, we're starting at velocity. We're going for that hour, and there's a lot that's packed into that. And then I do like the homework that comes from those calls. So I am a good student. Clifton is a great coach, and it's a great dynamic. So we're able to achieve a lot together. In addition to that one-on-one coaching, Clifton is available via text message and email and phone calls pretty much whenever I need, even on like Sunday afternoons a couple of times. I've been out here by the pool on the phone with Clifton, just going through some conversations and things like that. In addition to that, the Win Rate Consulting program has been awesome because they have quarterly in-person meetups in Greenville, South Carolina. And I go to most of those because I'm able to just be in rooms with like-minded entrepreneurs, different businesses, but and different business models, but like we're all going through the same mental, the self-doubt, the insecurities, what keeps you up at night. It's the same stuff across the board, trust me. So Clifton's an excellent business coach. And secondly, in my inner circle is my awesome, wonderful wife, Alyssa. She is not involved in contractor dynamics. However, she's very involved as my therapist, okay? Just being able to be open with her. Hey, I'm really struggling with some self-doubt. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed out. I'm tired. I'm not sure what to do. Just a really good sounding board for some of these challenges that I go through. And also someone to really celebrate the wins with, okay? Like, we need to celebrate those wins. Hey, we had a great week. We brought a new client. We got a great sponsor. We had a great event, had an awesome webinar. Like, those are all things that we're not good at celebrating as entrepreneurs, but being able to share those things with our inner circle in a not a bragging sort of way is really therapeutic as well. Okay, so we got Clifton, we have my wife, Alyssa, and then I have an inner circle of business owners that are friends that I've had for many, many years that are more local to me, that have been in the game for a long time, much longer than I have. And these are people that, I'll meet with for coffee, we'll go for a run, I'll call them up and be like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, what would you do here? We'll sit out here in the pool, have a beer, hang out, just kind of talk business. And those kind of relationships are awesome because, we're all, again, going through the same challenges regardless of our business. And a lot of times, like, I'm not even reaching out to those people directly now. I just kind of have their voices in my head as I'm navigating like some decisions in my business or in my life. And that to me is amazing because those people are having an impact on me, whether they realize it or not. So you guys know who you are. If you're listening, if you're watching, shout out to you, rock stars. And then last but not least, in my inner circle, certainly not least, is our leadership team here at Contractor Dynamics. So our leadership team, we meet every Monday for a 90-minute meeting, our L10 leadership meeting every Monday. We meet quarterly in person. We have an annual 2-day in-person meeting. And of course, we're working together every day in Contractor Dynamics. And this leadership team is myself, it's Elizabeth, our integrator, it's Sydney, our client success director, and it's Benny Fisher, our leadership growth coach, our very dynamic team, pun intended, where we have those open conversations. Sometimes we have tough conversations. Sometimes we call each other out. We hold one another accountable. We cry together. We laugh together. We share our vulnerabilities, our insecurities. And that has been a game changer for me, because for so many years, guys, like I thought I had to be that business owner that had everything figured out. Like I had to be great at marketing and great at sales and great at the finances and great at hiring and all these things. And having this leadership team has been a game changer, because now I can say, hey guys, I'm not the best at sales. I don't even like sales. I'm not the best at the finances. I don't even like the detailed aspect of the business. How can I get out of my own way so that we can grow? And that's been awesome. I could do a whole other episode on that. So that's our leadership team at Contractor Dynamics. So grateful for those amazing people. And that is my inner circle, guys. I have my business coach, my wife, I have some friends that are entrepreneurs in other businesses, and we have our leadership team at Contractor Dynamics. And again, these are people that I rely on every day, whether I'm speaking with them directly or whether they're just in my head or maybe we're texting. And this has been like absolutely critical to my personal growth, to our business growth, because I don't have to figure out everything on my own. I can tap into different resources. And again, most importantly, or equally as important to everything else rather, is the mindset. Because some days we wake up and, we have this fear, we have this doubt. Maybe we're scared, maybe we're nervous, maybe we don't want to do it. We just want to take the day off. Maybe at night, we're waking up in the middle of the night trying to, we're thinking about a problem client or a project or a team member or something that's going on. And man, those are lonely times. Those are lonely times being an entrepreneur. But just having the knowledge that we have our team and we have our inner circle that we can tap into, man, I can't overstate it. It is so important. So that is a picture of what I have in my business, in my life right now. This did not happen overnight. This is a 10-year process in some respects. And I am very grateful for everyone that has played a role into me sitting right here at this table with you, because I would not be right here with you today, sitting by my pool on this beautiful September day without those people that I just listed off. So how can you find the people for your inner circle? You might be just starting out and you're like, well, Joe, that sounds great. I don't have a lot of money to spend on coaches or mentors. Or, hey, I'm, very experienced. We've got a big business and I want to find the right people that are at my level. I don't want to be working with the same mentor or coach that's working with those startup companies. And I totally get it. There are different coaches and mentors and groups for different seasons of everyone's personal development and professional development. And these things change over time. They evolve as we evolve, as they should. So there are a lot of free options out there. One of the beauties of our interconnected world these days is that we have access to a lot of people. Like if I wanted to be in Ed Milet's inner circle, I could pay to be in his inner circle. I'm sure it's a lot of money. I haven't looked into it, but there's access there. Like that was not possible even 10 years ago. So that's amazing. But bringing it down to ground level, we have access to people through social media, through conferences and events, through podcasts like this. It might be a free Facebook group. I'm a member of a couple of Facebook groups that are very good quality. Like, yeah, there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people trying to sell you a lot of garbage, right? But like, if you're intentional about what you want, there are a lot of good free Facebook groups and forums that you can access to and meet people that way. There are also a lot of groups. I'm a member of a couple of them where you can pay $100 a month. You can pay $250 a month, $500 a month. I'm a member of at least 2 or 3 groups like that, where there's different communities of people that are just like, the mindsets are there. They're entrepreneurial, right? Because we have our friends in our local areas. They might be employees. They might be, in different capacities. But like as entrepreneurs or even intrapreneurs, driven people working for organizations, like we have different things that we go through from a mindset perspective and different challenges and different dreams and aspirations. And we're driven by different things. So getting into these groups for a couple $100 a month is invaluable if you're intentional about it. Okay. I know that whether I'm paying $100 a month or whether I'm paying $3,000 a month, and I have I have both ends of the spectrum right now, that I'm going to get ROI, infinite ROI from those things. because I'm going to follow my money with my effort. And I'm not getting a guarantee from the people that own those groups or those coaches. I am guaranteeing that's myself because I trust myself that I'm going to show up and do the damn work. And then beyond those smaller groups, I would encourage you to look in your industry. So you might be a roofing company, a contracting company, maybe you're some other type of company, and look at some of the companies that are in your industry, like other roofing companies, and look at the ones that you kind of like want to be like, right? You like their values, you like their style, you like their brand, and maybe you resonate with the owner, just like seeing them on social media or online or on a podcast like this. Reach out to those people. Not that they are necessarily going to mentor you, but ask them like, hey, who do you get coached by? Like, who do you tap into? What communities are you in? What events are you going to? So you can tap in and get some of that same juice that they're tapping into. And you'll be surprised. Like, there are a lot of great people out there that are willing to help and point you in the right direction. They might not have the capacity themselves to mentor you for free. I'm not saying that, but they can point you in the right direction or give you some tips or be willing to get on a call with you and kind of give you some tips. And one thing I will say is if you find someone like that is willing to get on a call with you or meet you at an event and have coffee or something like that, follow through on what they tell you to do, because that is a reward for an entrepreneur. So for example, if you come to me in my DMs and say, hey, Joe, I'm struggling with this thing, what do you recommend I do? I might say, hey, you should do this thing. If you do that thing and come back to me and be like, hey, Joe, I did that thing and it really made a difference. Thank you. That gives me so much energy. That's my personality type. I love to support. I love to help. Words of affirmation are my love language. So if you thank me for that, I'm going to love you to the day you die, right? So just doing the work that someone like guides you to do and then reporting back, they're going to be more willing to give you more to do and to be mentoring you. So there's a couple people that I have in my life. It's not like a formal mentor relationship, but like we text, we DM, we meet up and I'm kind of guiding them. And, there's no money exchange, but it's like they do the work. I love that they do the work. So I guide them more. And it's just like this kind of like symbiotic relationship. Another thing to think about as you're kind of evaluating different options is do some reflection and get really clear on like where you are in your journey and what you might need. Okay. For example, you might need some support in, maybe it's more like mindset. Maybe it's more personal development. Maybe it's habits and discipline and consistency and things like that. Maybe it's like sales and marketing. Maybe it's more like the finances of the business. Maybe it's more like production and operations and systems and things like that. Maybe you have an aspiration to sell your company. So, find people that have sold their company and, kind of like, don't say pick your brain. Don't say I want to pick your brain. That's the worst phrase ever invented. But hey, what things can I learn on how to position my business to sell just like you sold yours, right? Ask specific questions if you want to get specific answers. And this goes for like books as well. I love books. I have a whole library of books. I buy new books every week. I'm an Amazon book buying junkie, but I read books based on what I need in that particular moment for my personal development, for my mindset, for my business. There might be a great book that everyone's recommending. It might be the new bestseller from Ed Milet or David Goggins or whoever, and everyone's reading it. And I might be tempted to jump on that bandwagon and read that. But I'll ask myself, do I need this thing right now? Do I need like this topic right now? If not, I put it on the shelf, literally, and then come back to it at another time. And I focus on the book that I need in this particular moment based on where I'm at and where I want to go. It's very similar to coaching or mentorship, mastermind groups. Figure out where you are at, figure out where you want to go, and then find something to help you close that gap. So I'm not going to share any specific masterminds or business coaches or groups or anything like that on this episode because there are simply so many different options. But if you do have a question based on where you're at and you're evaluating different options, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Go to my website at josephhughes.co and get in contact with me there. I am more than willing to help you, find what is best suited for you. And yes, we have a marketing training program. I have a mastermind program, a coaching program, things like that. This is not an episode to like sell you any of that. I'm not even going to mention what those are. I want to help you regardless of whether it helps me or not, right? I want to point you in the right direction because I've had people in my life, and I still do, who selflessly guide me and support me and listen to me and point me in the right direction. And that's just part of being human. It's part of being an entrepreneur, is paying it forward. And I want to support you in any way that I can. So I hope that this episode has been valuable to you, sharing some of my journey and sharing some tips on how you can find the right people for your inner circle. I will never, I think I already said this, I will never not have a business coach, a mentor, an inner circle for the rest of my life, because life is too short and I want to impact a lot of people. I want to do a lot of things. I don't have the time to figure out everything that I need to figure out on my own. I do not have that capacity, okay? I surrender to the fact that I don't have it all figured out. I'm not going to, but I can tap into other people and we can work together. I think that saying, it's like an old African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I truly believe that. And I want to share that with you because, being in the entrepreneurial game, it's awesome, but it can be really, really miserable sometimes. It can be really lonely. It can be really frightening. It can be scary. It can produce a lot of stress and anxiety. And that stress and anxiety can trickle down into our families and our friends and other areas of our life. Trust me, been there and done that, okay? Work on it continually. We're never beyond that. But there are tools that we can learn, that we can put in our toolbox to help us on this journey. And mentors and coaches and mastermind programs and inner circles are absolutely essential tools that are in my toolbox, all right? So guys, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to guide and support you in any way that I can. I hope this was valuable for you. I hope that you spend some time reflecting on where you're at and where you want to be, and then find some people that can help you get from here to there and enjoy that journey along the way. All right? We'll talk to you soon.